Yeah, I think I got you. Can you hear me? Hello, Daddy.
Yes, I can hear you. It is the story music that is playing.
All right, beautiful. Thanks for coming online. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, just give me a few minutes. All right. Let's do this. Good evening over there.
Yes, good evening. Same time now, so
Yeah.
lovely.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for being here. Let me just say this before we started. I want to do a little introduction about Era Africa. Then,
okay,
like to do, I'm not going to tell participants, viewers, your story. You do that yourself. So, in a brief, Era Africa is an initiative we put together to see how we can change the scenario, okay, within the low-income community. You know, what we find out that the environmental factors within the low-income communities are affecting these teenagers when it comes to developing their potentials. So, about let's say 3 programs presently. The first one is the conference, okay, annual conference in commemoration with World Computer Literacy Day. And while the second one, we go to schools, secondary school in particular, to give orientation about the future of work in particular. But we realize that these kids are not aware that things are changing. You understand? You know, when we get to some of the school, the first thing we do is that we ask them question. What would you like to become when you, okay, in the future? So we realize that these teenagers are not aware about the rapid changing within the both education sectors, the labor market at large. So we decide to give them orientation, give them training concerning career choice, the future of works and the like. Why this very particular one we are doing now is part of what we call Project TIMS. You know, using stories, career stories, to see how we can impact these teenagers. So that when they listen to someone, when they see people telling you about their own story, they will realize that there's need for hard work, you know, determination, perseverance, you know, to achieve something reasonable. It's not all about overnight success, okay? You know, they see someone, you know, doing well, they think the person just get there without the process. So that is the reason why we are here today. We realize people like you have passed through a lot of journey before getting to the present position, and you are still going. So we want us to first brief us within less than 15, 20 minutes. What is your journey like from beginning? If possible, from the background, I mean family background, so the person.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, good evening. Thank you very much for having me. Consider this a privilege, so thank you. So in fact, I would like to, because you having me today, I would like to start the story from, I can't remember that age now, but I remember that the first book I ever, the first like, maybe career, not really career success, but in terms of that that talks about being conscious about your future, planning your financial future, and things like that. You gave me that book, and it was an audio book. You gave me then it was the CD, yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
gave me the CD to listen to Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah, that was like my first foray into the space of being more conscious about your life, seeking the right knowledge and things like that. I would say that ever till that point, for me, it's just about how things comes. It's like just go to school, come back home, go to church, pray, and not that consciousness wasn't really there. So I know, I love the title for the story today is like being agile towards success, and interestingly, that has pretty much been my story.
Wow.
That has pretty much been my story because I remember I just do things as they come, so to say, and as the Bible says that whatsoever your hand finds to do it with all your might.
Wow.
So things that come, I put all my effort into it, make every as good an effort that I can make on that front. So that is how it's been for me till this very point. So starting with, I think from age 13 that I can remember, 13 or 12. So I was living in a house where I know in Nigeria you call those houses face me, I face you.
Wow.
And there were about I don't know how many of us, 7 children, one cousin around. Anyway, all of us in that one room and one parlor, about 10 of us with my parents.
Wow. Sorry.
And that's the kind of environment that I grew up from. I mean, and at about that age, 13 or 12 or something, I would get my other neighbors in the house who would come together. There's one of our neighbors that is very, very free. He allows us to be in his sitting room a lot of the time. So we'll mostly converge there. We'll pretty much form like a drama group type thing. And we just play, just act drama and do things like that. I think you will remember him as well too. It's called Baba Chokube.
Exactly.
So we'll be in his house, gather all those people together. And but from there, from just playing and doing drama, I got interested in just teaching people. So I would get some younger ones. I was like 13 at this point. I would just teach them mathematics, English, and I was just playing around it. And one of our neighbors from the next house just realized what I was doing and was interested in getting more attention for their child, who was about maybe 5 years old or something then, and say, hey, Daddy, we want you to teach this boy. And I started earning money at that about age 13 or something, teaching. And that was more like my first business, really. And I just like that story so much because a lot of time it just talks about sometimes whatever it is you love to do it passionately. And I wasn't saying I was looking to make money at that point. I was just doing it. And they engaged me I started earning money from it. And it wasn't just the money then. I enjoyed the whole teaching process as well too. So I just went on with it. And that was how the learning for me, it evolves. It evolves from there. I think so at about 16, when I finished secondary school, waiting to get into university. At this point, we've relocated. My dad has built a house at this point, so living more in Badagry then. And so this person just said, oh, there's this school while I was waiting to get into uni, and they need someone to teach there during the holiday lesson period. So I got in there, was teaching. Again, I loved it. I didn't even remember to negotiate. At that point, I was like about 16 or so. I didn't even know you're supposed to negotiate salary before you start working. I just went ahead, started working. It was at the end of the month I got paid, and I was like, what's this? Is this all I've worked for like 1 month? I remember it was like 1,500 naira. So I was like, what's this? Anyway, no problem. But the interesting thing is that things connect. So while teaching them with that little sum of money, one of my students went to tell the parents, oh, we have this teacher, we love him, blah, blah, blah. And they invited me over to their house to private tutorial for those kids. And I think I even had more money doing that than what I earned in the school. And when I got into university, I was pretty much interested in saying, okay, so another thing around the university bit I'd like to also talk about is that, growing up, I wanted to study. I didn't know why. When I was much more younger, I was like, oh, I want engineering or something like that. And I didn't even know there were different spheres of engineering. I just said I wanted engineering. And when I was discussing with my dad was like, oh, why not consider, have you considered like medicine or something? I was, okay, yeah, that's a good one too. So it was not, there was no deliberate decision. I was like, okay, yeah, medicine is good. Let's go for it. So I did my jump and everything, wanting to get medicine, but I didn't get the cutoff score after the post UTME. I think because medicine is so high demand, I think they put it at 75% or something, and I got 64%. So I was given a course, agricultural economics and extension. I've never had that a combination of a university degree before in my life, but I wanted to go for it because I was tired of staying at home. I was only been home after secondary school about 4 months or so, and I was already tired because I've always been a bit of a restless kid. I just wanted to do something. I just wanted to, what's next? Just explore. So I got into uni studying agricultural economics and extension, and not even knowing what I'm going to do with my career when I leave. But as at that point, I had started the research. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? So at some point, I stumbled on the fact that, hey, I love to talk. Trading would be a good thing. It would be a good business. I already love teaching. Why not explore trading? So I set up my own company. I think I was in 200 level or something in university then, and I called it Wisdom Gates. So, and my focus from Wisdom Gates was to do trading. So what I do then is I mostly reach out when anytime I was back home in Badagry. When I'm in school, I'm studying. Then when I'm back home in Badagry during holidays, and during that period, we had a lot of ASU strike. So when ASU strike hits again, and I'm home for like 3 months or so, I go ahead there and I reach out to schools, secondary schools, primary schools. Hey, I want to train your teachers. I was still a 200 level student, about 18 years old or something like that. And some of them said, yes, come around. I was talking to secondary school students. I was training primary school teachers. And I remember, I think I did one time. I went to do like 2 or 3 hours training. I got paid 500 naira. Like, oh yeah, I made money. Like, I mean, just about 1 year ago, I spent 1 month earning 1,500. Here am I, 500 naira within 2 hours. So at least it's baby steps, but it was progress, and I was celebrating it. So, and I was happy to even do it without the pay as at that time. But so any little thing that comes in as appreciation, okay, yeah, that's fine. So that's pretty much how things went. I did the whole thing. Then I got involved in some associations, some organizations when I was in school as well too. My department. A full-time job really, but they were training me as well too. Is my 15 minutes almost up?
Continue. Just
okay. So those things, I was getting some training from all those bits as well. So from and all that, and then I also had position in church as well too. I was assistant drama coordinator at some point. Then I moved on to being the youth president in church and things like that. So all those things were part of the places where I was drawing all my training from. And when I finished uni, went for NYC. I continued those secondary school tour even during my NYC. I mean, spoke to over 2,000 or about 2,000 secondary school students during my NYC days. I just talking to them about discovering yourself. As at this time, I started working a model on how you can discover yourself, which I eventually turned into a book at some point in 2015 or so. Yeah, so Discover You. So I was teaching this whole thing around some secondary schools as at this point. And this was me during NYC, 22 years of age-ish and all that. So that was the baby steps. Then I got my first job. I knew then, and one thing for me is that the place of God, you can't take it out. So I finished my NYC. I knew I didn't want to go back to Lagos because I really didn't like Lagos because of the traffic. So I was wondering where next. But as I prayed then, I had that leading to go to Abuja. When I was going to Abuja, I didn't have any family member in Abuja. I didn't have anywhere to stay, but I knew it was time to go to Abuja. Oh, the funny thing is that during my NYC, I even connected. I started doing a training program called Institute of Customer Relationship Management. And how did I get that job? I was going to do the training as in learn myself, but during the training process, I reached the person that was doing the training and say, hey, I can do this as well, so I can train for you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, that's good. Once you finish your program, let's talk. I finished my program, got my certificate. Then he asked me to go start in a new local government. Like, I had to go there, do the sales, recruit the people that worked for me. So I was a core member, and I've recruited other core members working for me as well too. So the funny thing is that I wasn't sure I could do it, but I was just confident that let me just try. I was like, yeah, let me do it. And I ended up making some very good money during that period, paying the core members themselves, making more money than the NYSC alawee that they were giving me then. So I continued that after my NYSC. So I didn't finish NYSC looking for work. I started that during NYSC and I just continued it. But when I realized that it was time for Abuja, I had to leave that. And the person was like, have you found another job in Abuja? I said, no, I have not. Say, then why are you leaving this? This is some sure source of income and you're going to Abuja. There are no jobs in Nigeria. What's your problem? I'm like, well, I know it's time. So that's how I moved to Abuja. I got my first job in Abuja, which was through a friend, got a second one, got a third one. And then about 3 years ago, I relocated from Abuja to the UK because I had to be with my wife, and then another job here, another job there, started my own company. So it's just been, oh, this is nice, I tried it. Oh, this is good. I don't really like it, then I leave it. I move on to what I think was. So it's just grabbing the opportunities that come to me at every point in time and making sure that I make the best of it.
Wow, thank you. That's so captivating. But I want us to draw some wisdom from your journey. I want to take it from post-secondary school. You know,
Okay.
all those teenagers, just like you did, many of them have challenges in choosing course, which of course should be their career. Okay, we call it course, but it is expected that the career you undergo should eventually become the course you undergo supposed to be your career. Are you getting me? But many people have challenges. Myself, you, and in fact, virtually like 95% of teenagers do have challenge with that. What advice can you give teenagers out there when it comes to choosing career? How do they go about it to choose the best so that they won't waste much time studying and then eventually become something else?
Okay. So I started realizing, a quick story. When I was in university, I met this person who studied electrical electronics engineering and was working in a bank. And so I actually organized a seminar in university then through one of my position as the public relations officer in the department. So we invited the bank manager, but the bank manager said he was going to send his colleague. So the colleague he sent was this guy who studied electrical electronics engineering, and they're working in the bank. When he was telling me that, I was like, why are you not doing engineering? Why are you working in the bank and all that? And he was so brilliant. He's not one of those people who just accepts whatever comes his way or something. I mean, for you to invite the bank manager and he's the person that the bank manager chooses to send, not because he's the assistant manager, but because the bank manager knows that he's sound and they can represent him well. So that was where that curiosity started for me. That I've been studying agricultural economics. I think I've been thinking, would I work what are the opportunities open to this agricultural economics degree? And so it was then I realized that what you study for your first degree in the university does not have the power to define your life. What you study does not have the power to define it. So it's good to say, oh, let's try to figure out what should I study in uni and all that. But the truth is, sometimes make a decision. What do you think you're passionate about? What do you think you're passionate about? If something else drops in your hands and you love it, because I didn't just say because they gave me Agric economics, I went for it. I started the Agric economics with the expectation that I was going to cross over in the second year to another course. But when it was that time, as I started praying and praying, the clarity I have in my spirit at that point is, hey, just stay where you are. Yeah, so I didn't just settle for it. So it doesn't mean just settle for anything that comes your way, but work with it and see if it works. Because whatever you study in uni, except if your career path is to be a medical doctor,
sure,
or a lawyer. Yeah. So these are some of the fields where and then some form of engineering as well too. These are some of the fields where you need the university degree to be able to do the work. But most other business today, we're talking about the future of work, most everything is defined by IT. So even if you don't, even if you can study Yoruba, graduate as a graduate of Yoruba, and then start working as a software developer somewhere else. So it's more of learning, having that disposition to always learn and learn to learn fast than getting lost in what exactly should I study in uni. But if you can get that clarity is best, because for instance, for someone like me now, I'm like, if I if I took a step back there to change my course or anything, I probably would have studied something like psychology, because it relates to a lot of the things I do today, one way or the other, training, coaching, and things like that. But not studying psychology then did not stop me from doing what I still do today. Yeah. So if you can figure it out, but if you can't, don't let it be so much of a concern. Most people get clarity on what they really want to do after they leave university.
Wow, I love that response. I love that response. Now, let's take a look at your time in university. I know many of the things you do within that scale, okay, contributed to what you are today. Because I remember when I was in secondary school, our principal would say, don't just pass through the school, let the school also pass through you. But
yeah,
those kids out there, they are thinking of getting a good job after school, but they never participated in a lot of things while in school. All what they do is go to classroom, and go to hostel and the like. I mean, you participated in a lot of activity while in school. How does it contribute to what you are today?
Okay, give me a few seconds here. I just want to.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So there was this my flip chart board that just came, and the box has just been behind me. As I'm looking at it, it's getting to my head. So I had to take it away. Okay. So getting to university and letting university pass through you, very good advice. When I got into university, I mean, I've always been someone who loved going to church and all that. So that was there for me. I had to make sure that I wasn't just going as a member. I tried to get involved in different activities here and there. And that is where I started learning very, very essential soft skills like team building, learn to work with a team and communication with the team. And I started getting responsibility, being in charge of teams. So I had to start learning how to manage these people. And these were some of the things I was able to present as part of my experience when looking for my first graduate job. Because when you just graduate fresh, they say experience. I'm like, where do I get the experience from? Well, I haven't worked any full-time job per se, but I could narrate what I did with this team, how I helped the team grow, double in size, all those things like that. So I was able to weave those into my story when looking for my first graduate job. So and I wouldn't say it's important to get involved, but one just needs to be very careful not to overdo it to the point where you are not getting good grades in university. I had to make sure that there is balance. Anytime exams is drawing close, I just, what's the word? I slow down on every other front. In fact, being a university environment, everybody too is sensitive. Even churches don't do extra programs when exam is near. Any other activity or society I was part of, they don't, everything just like slows down. So that way you can focus and read and everything like that. Like I got involved in a lot of things, and you just need to understand what's your capacity. Because I've always, like I said earlier, I've always been a bit of a restless person. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I can do a lot of things and all that. So, but it doesn't mean you must do so many things. Some people, all they just do is one thing. They join some organizations like JCI, I think they call that Junior Chambers International. I didn't join anything like that. So There's another one called, I think, ISEC. They do some kind of entrepreneurship training for students and all that. So some people just join that one particular thing and they learned a lot from it. But from it was a whole lot. Church was there. Lagos State Students Association was there. My department, Agricultural Economics Association thing was there. And then at some point, I even joined an NGO. While an undergraduate myself, I was also working as their public relations officer in that space. So, but the advice is pretty much make sure that you balance it. Don't do too much that you can handle. And I'm going to say a quick story on that. So we had someone that I knew then in church while I was in uni, and he was sharing a story that in his department there was this lady that she doesn't you know, when sometimes some people want to just read once, everything is stuck in their head. But that lady was not that kind of person. She doesn't understand very quickly. But because of that, she spends more time. So if others read for 2 hours, she's probably reading for like 5 hours and all that. Eventually, when they were graduating, that lady graduated as the best student in the department.
Wow.
The same lady who was not as smart as others were, but she understood her own capacity and she put in more effort into it. There are some students who probably don't read very well during the year. They only read 2 weeks to exam and they still pass their exams very well. But there are some people that you have to. So it's about knowing yourself, knowing your capacity, how best can you function. I understand the place of getting involved in all those activities to build your skills, but it is never, ever an excuse for you to fail in school. Like, don't say, oh, I got a third class because I was involved in a lot. No, that's not an excuse. That is just pure mediocrity. Or, I mean, some people experience some things that are beyond their power. I mean, some people maybe had things that affected them mentally a lot while they were in uni, and it affected their capacity and things like that. But apart from that, give your own best. I've read the story of the guy, the first person who graduated with the perfect CGPA in Nigeria was University of Lagos 5.0. And his story, while in school, he was also working in Computer Village. And he made the perfect grade. So it's never an excuse. Do things, but don't let it affect your excellent grades in uni.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now, let me also grab some insight. You've experienced two worlds. What I mean that way, developing and develop. Now,
okay,
situation in Nigeria, education-wise, okay, compared to what you're seeing over there. Now,
okay,
our government has a lot to do, but what if the government doesn't do what they need to do? What can a teenager do for himself or herself to ensure that the what's it called? Not efficient of our leader does not affect his own future, his own career, his own future.
Okay, so I'm going to share a quick story of a friend in Abuja. So I think he studied a course called Fisheries and something and Marine Technology. Yeah. So for a start, he has gone to study a course where he doesn't even know what he was going to do with it when he leaves uni. And yes, there's also the government not helping here and there and things like that. But he's someone who was given to self-development, developing himself, getting all the skills necessary. Why is this? Because we say a lot how that there are opportunities in Nigeria, but we forget that there are opportunities in Nigeria. The opportunities are only the opportunities are just few. Let me say it that way. Yeah. And the best people are getting those opportunities. So it's about continuously developing yourself and positioning yourself correctly. I mean, one thing this my friend was good at was writing and storytelling. So good at it. When he got his first job from uni, then was a very good one. By the time he got the next one, it was also a very good one, paying him so well. Moved on to another one, and aside from the job that he does, he now got involved as well too in doing some training for people. He trains people on storytelling and things like that. And Lamide is his name, and Lamide does very well in this. He was talking about the story the other day, how that apart from his full-time salary, this is training. He makes an average of about 500,000 naira extra every month by just sitting down at home on his chair, getting on his phone, and training people. So so my one short answer is continuously develop yourself, network with the right people, the best opportunities will come to you.
Wow. Now, let's talk about employability. I read a short some of your word on LinkedIn. You said you give somebody an advice that if you're really looking for a job, you have to stop looking for jobs, something like that. I don't know, maybe you remember.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're looking for jobs, stop applying.
Stop applying, exactly. So, what's the expansion a little on that?
Okay, so what I've come to realize is that the best jobs are not really advertised. The best jobs are, even when they advertise them, before they start looking at the CVs of people who have applied, they've already filled up that job. And personally, I've had an experience like that where I saw a job ad one time, and then I know a senior person in the company that placed that advert, and then I sent an email straight to him and said, hey, I just saw this advert for this role. I'm interested in the role. What do you say? And he's like, oh, the role has been filled already. And you know that advert only came out that same day. So if I had applied for that role, I would have just been like, oh, they didn't take me. They rejected me. Oh, does that mean I was not good enough? But no, the only reason why they rejected a lot of the application that comes in is because the day they are putting out the advert, the same day they've gotten somebody else to fill the role. So that's what I was saying earlier, that one, you have to continuously develop yourself, know which area you're trying to play in, and try to be excellent, try to be the best at it. And secondly, network. You can't know too many people in this life. You know, people say it a lot in Nigeria, and they say that, you know, some people say something that, the children of nobody, who is going to help them? I mean, that is a way of writing yourself off. You don't say things like that, yeah? Because if you believe that they are in an economy where you need to know someone, then stop sitting down and saying that your parents don't know anybody. Is your parents responsible for you? They've done their best. They've sent you to school. Now you've graduated. So step out and do something for yourself as well too. Network, know the right people who you can speak to here and there and all. I was speaking to someone yesterday and I was like, oh, if this is what you're interested in, I can connect you with this other person who has a lot of opportunities in that space. So now that person wouldn't be able to get access to such opportunities if I was not speaking with him. So it's just, and he wouldn't have thought that I know that person who knows the person that is required to help him get it. So network, and also talk, open your mouth and talk. You know, there's this Yoruba proverb, and that thing is very true. Aile soro, nebere ori buruku. So don't just keep quiet and suffer in silence. Like, when you have the right people around you, talk to them. When I relocated to the UK, I did not just say, oh, I already had some very good job in Abuja, so I'm just going to come here and jobs will come to me or things like that. I had to network with the right people. Oh, my wife has been here. She's able to introduce me to XYZ people. And I listen to them, get advice from them, get them to coach me and all that, so I can be rightly positioned. And 3 years on, since I've been here now, boom, it's been a projectile growth, mainly because I've listened to the right people. But there were also people with the wrong advice, so that I'll say, you just came from Nigeria. You can't get an office job here. It has to be XYZ. I didn't listen to all those ones. In fact, when I got my first job, a friend was telling me that, when he told somebody, the person was like, Ni UK, Igba Olushede. So all those things just help us realize that it's not so much about the normal applications. You need to make efforts. Like, all through my life, yeah, most of the jobs I've gotten, they were not through normal application. I told you about the one I got through during NYC. I just walked up to the person. I said, I'm interested in doing this, and he gave it to me. And the thing is, sometimes speak, try. The worst they will tell you is no. They're not going to cut off your head.
Exactly.
The first job I got when I relocated to Abuja, my wife told me about the company. I didn't read about their advert anyway. They did not have a job ad. I read the company. I loved the company. I picked their email. I sent an email to them. I'm interested. I want to work with you. I was not applying for any role. I just wanted to work for the company. I didn't get their response. I was like, okay, let's check. I checked out for their address, went to the office, knocked at the door of the office, and someone came out and attended to me. Hey, how you doing? What do you want? And that person that attended to me is my friend till date. He's also in the UK today. Yeah. linked me up, spoke to his boss. I got the interview. There was no advert. There was no applying for the advert. And I got it. I moved away from there. The next company I worked with again was a friend starting a company. I was like, oh yeah, I'm interested. Let's do this together. We worked on it. When it was time to move on from there as well too, I was in a session somewhere and someone was talking and say, hey, we've actually been looking for someone to fill XYZ particular role in our company. And I was like, why is this so difficult? I went to Google. I read about the role. I've not done the work before. But after reading about it, I said, I can do this thing. I can do it. I sent my application in for it. Hey, I'm interested in this role. And somehow I got an interview. They got me in for an interview for a different role that they believed that was a better fitting for me. So if I had not reached out confidently for a role that I've never heard of, they wouldn't have. I think he loved the approach, loved the confidence, saw my CV, loved what I had on it, and then got me in for an interview. I got a job with that company, worked with them till I left Abuja. Since I've been here, the first job I got, after going for an interview, and they say, oh, we need somebody with more experience for this project management role and others. Oh, thank you very much for your candid feedback. A few days later, I reached out to the lady on LinkedIn. Thank you very much for your feedback the other day, but I'm actually open to other roles within the organization. Oh, really? Okay, come in on Monday. I went in on Monday. We sat down, we discussed, and he's like, let's see if we can create a role for you.
Wow.
There was no vacancy. Let's see if we can create a role for you. This very second day, I got a call. They were not even saying, let's see if we can create a role for you. They've already created the role and they were asking me to come and start.
Wow.
And they were paying me the same money I told them I wanted as a project manager. And when I got into the role, the person who they employed as the project manager left after a few months. Even though they said my experience was not enough initially, I became the project manager again, managed the project, delivered results excellently.
Wow.
When it was time, I moved on away from there. So, and I said this, it's, you just have to, you see there's a common trend there is, I hear something that I'm interested in, I just jump at it. Or I see a company I'm interested in, I just reach out to them. Do you understand? So things like that. I've done some things like that. Some people will not respond. So it's not all of them that respond. Sure. So sometimes you only get one response out of 10. But the normal application route, as far as I'm concerned, is not the best to go. So reach out to people. You love a company, connect to the person on LinkedIn. In fact, there is one little, I'll just close with that now, then we can move on to the next question. So if you as a young person, if you're looking to work with a particular company, one of the first things you want to do is when you get on LinkedIn, connect with everybody you can connect with that works in that company. And any one of them that is active on LinkedIn, as they post things and all that, like it, comment. You are getting what? You are getting visibility from that person. So one day, you might just reach out to them on LinkedIn and just chat them up. Hey, hello, blah, blah, blah. I'm actually looking, because the person has known you a bit, one way or the other, they will respond to you more warmly. Yeah. So that's one of those things as well. So that's how you can know anybody. Thank God for technology these days. Wow. You can connect with anybody you want to connect with.
Thank you so much. In fact, you are giving more than what we expected. And I'm sure someone is going to be very fortunate with this information you just shared. But can we talk a little about entrepreneurship?
Okay.
Different opinion surrounding an entrepreneurship. Some believe, okay, let's start from why the best is to start from scratch, do it little by little and move on. Another school of thought believe, get some job, get some experience, get some money and start from a bigger place or something like that. But what can you say with your experience and maybe your consideration one day to become, to have and then past experience as a kid who has already done one thing or another in the sphere of entrepreneurship? What advice can you give teenagers out there?
Okay, so I think sometimes it's a bit of a funny trend. What is a common way to move sometimes is, if you desire to be an entrepreneur, start as an entrepreneur very young, in your teenage age, start selling sweets and biscuits. Even though you're not making so much profit from it, you are learning to manage and multiply money from that process. Even if you're not making any tangible profits, you already trained your mind on how to engage with people, your negotiation skills, all those things, you're already training it. Then as you go on from it, if by the time you graduate from university, whatever it is you are doing as an entrepreneur is big enough that it can take care of you comfortably, then you can focus on it and continue as an entrepreneur continuously like that. But if by the time you're coming out of university, whatever it is you've been working on, you've tried different businesses, but by the time you're coming out of university, none of the business is sufficient to pay your bills yet, and you don't think you have the patience to wait a while, get a job.
Wow.
enjoy get the job that you love, grow at it, become big. And if you still have this passion to do a business here and there and all that, if you can be doing it during your weekends while working, do it. If you can't do it part-time, leave it, focus on your job. At some point when the time is ripe, you probably would have saved up enough money. You would have maybe had some investments here and there. Maybe you've bought shares or whatever investment you could have done, real estate investment with some of the money you've saved from your job. So that savings or that investment will create a bit of a cushion, for you. So by the time if you are interested in being an entrepreneur, if you now cross from your job and start your business as an entrepreneur, even if things don't take off in the first year, at least you are still able to take care of yourself with some of the returns you make from the little investments you would have made here and there. So that's like one easy flow. It's not always that we all have, and one extreme school of thought is people that say that we all have to be entrepreneurs, stop serving another person's dream. The funny twist I have is that, excuse me, sir, you are saying don't serve another person's dream. You yourself, do you have employees? Oh, so your employees too, they should leave you. They should not serve your dream. So there's a place of service. Even if you would become an entrepreneur, the richest man in the world today did not start straight up as an entrepreneur. Yeah, he worked for years before he started his own business. So he's been able to put money aside that can help him float the business. But some people think just start the business and raise investments anyway. That's why some people start the business and it fails, because when they start a business, they are trying to pay themselves big salary from day one, and it doesn't work like that. So that's why it's very important to start early. If you can, before university, start doing something, start learning, start building and all that. But the interesting thing is that we are all not destined to be entrepreneurs, so to say. There are some people that they will find major fulfillment in their place of work. They will make enough money from their place of work. And even though some people say, oh, you cannot become rich by being an employee and all that. But yeah, you can be an employee and still be a billionaire. How is that? We have people that are how is that possible? One of the ways it's possible is that you might be, after working for a while with some companies, they give you a stake of ownership in that company, and your capital can bring you very good returns. Secondly, you can be working there, earning good salary and saving a whole lot and investing a lot in shares. Let me give an example. Yeah, Tesla shares between January till date is about times 500% growth. So if you've put some of your savings in that, you've just multiplied your savings by 5 in less than 1 year. And there are some other companies that has done times 3, times 2 within 1 year alone. So imagine, let's even assume that you do only times 2 and you're able to do times 2 every year for 5 years. And you're doing that, you are saving about minimum 20% of your salary and all that. In 5, 6, 7 years of working, your investment will be giving you more returns than your salary. And the investment will keep growing. Then from there, you can invest in land and things like that. So let's shift the mindset of thinking. That's why I know some people that are like, be an entrepreneur. They've been trying this entrepreneurship thing. Some for 5, 7 years, and some of them still cannot take care of themselves from the money they make from the business. So if only they've blended it to say, okay, well, let's add this to it or things like that, and things would have taken off even more than that. So my summary is start early. Even if you don't want to become an entrepreneur, start doing something. I believe so strongly in training children to do business no matter how little. Like, go and knock at your neighbor's door. Say, I can clear your garden for you. I can clear your grass for you. Oh yeah, I'll pay you how much? 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira, something like that. You start building that skills, and you can use them even if you become an employee, and you can also use them even when you become an entrepreneur. But no, don't let the place of entrepreneurship, don't let people say entrepreneurship is the only way out. You can balance it. You can be like the case of my friend I'm talking about now. He makes a lot of money from the side business, still has his full-time job, paying him a whole lot as well too. And he can continue to do that. So, and let me wrap that up with this. There is something in the whole concept of future of work here, with the advent of technology and internet and things like that, and remote working, people are beginning to move to the point of building what we call portfolio careers.
Yes.
So they move on to the point where they build a portfolio career. So he works here, but he also does another project of his that makes him some money. And then he also has another place where he freelance and makes some money. So you think that you are both earning the same 150,000 naira per month, but the extra income this person is making is almost 1 million naira. So that's also another way around it. So if we say, yeah, we need to desire beyond, let's not settle for less. Even if you don't want to start as a full-blown entrepreneur, you can also think about the path of building a portfolio career, freelancing. And okay, I said I was going to close it out, but one more thing, which is the fact of what's it called now? Get skills that can bring money. In fact, even if you don't want to become an entrepreneur, everybody needs a skill that if we pick you up from where you are today and dump you anywhere in the world, you can use that skill to make money. Is it cutting hair? Go and learn it. In this COVID-19, and many of us will respect our barbers more. That, hey, I've not seen my barber. So learn it. Is it sewing clothes? Learn it. Is it software development? Learn it. Is it graphics design? Learn it. Don't settle for all this, I'm a public speaker or this thing alone. Yes, public speaking is good, but sometimes it might be a saturated market at times. So get some more concrete, and even if it's public speaking and training you want to do, don't just say I'm training anything and everything. Find your niche, study in that area, become very good at it. I do a lot of training myself, so aside from work that I do, I do a lot of training, and I have certification courses. I've been certified to train and certify other people as well too. So build a skill that can earn you money anywhere in the world.
Sorry. All right. Let's move to something else. Okay. You've already talked briefly about future of works, right? But can you lay a little more emphasis on this aspect? Okay.
On what?
Future of works. Future of,
okay.
Like I told you, we've gone to schools and we've sampled some opinions here and there. And we see in Nigeria, there's still a lot to do to orient these kids concerning the changes that it's taking place. Can you tip you some things before we round it up?
Okay. So, well, a quick summary around that is just that future of work there's a fusion of that with technology. So all the advancement with technology is redefining the things that are needed. Software development, anything that is tech-related skill, a cloud expert, a DevOps specialist, things like that. Anything that somehow has to do with some form of IT expertise is very, very essential for us today. And because now COVID has also fast-tracked, we've been talking about future of work for a while, but COVID has fast-tracked everything happening even faster than we expected. So a lot of companies have realized that their employees can now work from home. And that means that a lot of companies can say, oh, if that is the case, if all our employees are working from home, instead of employing people in the US, we can actually employ even people in Nigeria to be doing the same job for us. That means you can be anywhere in the world, working for any company anywhere in the world. So talking about future of work, you need to think a lot around IT skills that you can build. Software developer, UI designers, cloud practitioners, and things like that. So, and also there's a bit of the consultants too that, I don't like code, I don't like to be too technical, but I like to understand project management within the IT space. It's also a rising demand. Business analysis is a rising demand. Every organization needs to be agile today in the way they deliver work. That's also kind of things you need to pay attention to, regardless of what it is at all that you studied in the university. Like even if you're a medical doctor, you need to be even more tech savvy because it will expose you to more opportunities out there beyond just one line of work as well. So as a matter of fact, we are getting a lot of doctors working from home to sit down, dialing in on the phone to people. And that means that doctor can probably start consulting with more than one or two hospitals, since he can do all of them from home now. So, but aside from the roles that the future of work is creating, it's also creating a global competition. So we might be saying today that there are no jobs in this country and all that, but it is either going to even get worse or get better. And what I mean with that,
sorry, just 2 minutes.
yeah, it's all right. And what I mean with that,
Come on. Sorry.
It's all right.
It's my kid.
Okay, it's all right. And what I mean with that is the fact that there will be more global competition. So before you know, some Nigerian companies will even start employing skills from outside Nigeria to work for them if it's going to save them money that way. So, and at the same time, companies in other developed countries will be looking for skills in Nigeria as well too. So as you build these skills, learn to search for opportunities globally. Don't be limited. We have a lot of websites out there today where if you have a very good skills, you can go there, quote yourself, and start earning dollars. Sites like Upwork is doing very well in that space now. And I mean, I was speaking with a friend the other day, and he's like, yeah, that this lockdown has been so favorable for him that the least job he has done is about $800. And sitting in Nigeria, earning $2,000, $3,000 here and there. So try to build some IT skills whatsoever, and position yourself rightly to search out for opportunities globally. Don't focus on just, oh, I'm in Nigeria. There are no jobs in Nigeria. There are a lot of people in Nigeria working for companies in the US, UK, Germany, and the rest. And they're even earning foreign currency sitting down at home in Nigeria. So that's the blessing with the future of work.
Wow. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for the distraction. So let me like this now. For viewers watching this, you can link up Dari on his Facebook, Dari Oduale. I'm going to put that on the video, and at the same time, you can as well connect through the LinkedIn. I'm going to give the full information about this when I am sharing the video to our followers. So sorry for all this distraction. My kids have been interviewing the interview. I'm so sorry about that. So I really appreciate your time. And let me say, what is the last word? I mean, the last advice that you can give teenagers, the youths out there concerning their career and their future before we round it off?
Yes, I'll just say that in one sentence, that no matter what your background is, believe that you are exceptional. Don't use your background as an excuse to launch forward. Just do it. Like Nike will say, just do it. Believe that you are exceptional. Try to focus on your positive stories, however little they are. When you draw them out, you find something that is special about you. Everybody on earth has something that is special about them. Find it and work hard at it. Develop skills. Like in your young age, in your teenage age, don't get lost and say, I just want to make money, I just want to make money. The most important thing for you as a teenager is to learn. Learn and learn and learn. Don't get tired of learning. Get very excellent skills. But I keep going back to the point that what is very, very important is that believe in yourself, believe that you're exceptional, because if you believe that, you would have that mindset that, yes, I can do this, I can do all things, I can learn this, I can learn that, I can succeed. So if you keep rewiring that mentality to yourself, it's going to make a whole lot of difference.
Wow, thank you so much. And let me say this. This is just an introduction. We're going to be needing you some other time in our program, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
No problem.
Much. I really appreciate it. All right.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Bye. Bye for now.